Welcome to the Ravens Space Fan Talks, where we talk to a Ravens fan about the ongoings with the Baltimore Ravens. Thank you guys for joining me, and we'll be back with the fan this week. Welcome to the Ravens Space. We're here with Miguel. Miguel, can you tell them where you're from?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm from Virginia, local Ravens fan.
Okay. And who's your favorite Ravens player so everyone can get to know, who you like?
My favorite Ravens player, I guess I would have to say it's Suggs, because he's from the older generation of the greats, like with Lewis and Ed Reed, and when they were the trio back then. Yeah, I definitely have to go with Suggs, the most experienced, basically the face of our franchise aside from Flacco.
Okay. And who's your favorite of all time?
Sorry?
Who's your favorite Ravens player of all time?
Of all time, man? I gotta go with Ray Lewis, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an Ed Reed guy myself, so.
Ed Reed, nice.
Yeah. And if it's your first time watching Ravens Space Fan Talk, basically we ask a Ravens fan about the current ongoings with the Ravens. So we'll hop right in for the first question. What are your feelings about the Ravens free agency this year?
I like to see what Ozzy's has been doing so far. I love the signing of Tony Jefferson. I thought that was just a clutch signing. I mean, I feel like the only reason why we were able to sign him was because of our reputation for defense, and especially because of Eric Weddle, because he's basically like the Ravens recruiter, unofficial recruiter. He's been doing a great job at letting the free agents know what's good at Baltimore and telling them about how awesome of a first-class organization it is. So I like the Tony Jefferson signing. He's going to definitely help out our defense a lot, being able to cover those tight ends and receivers if we're playing man. Of course, he can also play in the box and deep. So that'll really give him and Eric some really good flexibility in the back end and confuse quarterbacks. And I also love the Danny Woodhead signing. At first I was questioning why we did that, and then I realized that Kenneth Dixon got suspended for the first 4 games, so it makes sense. He would most likely be our third down back, and I think he can still make some plays. So I think that's that he fits the 80 for 20 rule, if you know about that. Ozzy's 80% of the play for 20% of the payment. I think it was something like that. And who else did we get? Oh, yes, Brandon Carr. I love the Brandon Carr signing. I think that was a day 2 signing. Yeah. Very solid. I thought he was a solid cornerback from watching the Cowboys play this year. I think he's going to do wonders for our secondary. We've been lacking that number 2 guy. Even though we've been having Jimmy Smith, he's been kind of injury prone. So it's great to be shoring up that number 2 spot, and that'll also allow Tavon Young to thrive in the slot.
I love Tavon Young, man. I really do.
Yeah, man. So far, so good. So far, I like what Ozzy's been doing. But now, let's see if he can maybe sign a few veteran offensive guys.
Okay. And how do you feel about, speaking of the offense, how do you feel about the loss of a lot of our offensive players?
Man, it sucks. I mean, I wish we could have kept Rick Wagner. He was a homegrown guy, 5th round pick, and he turned out to be a pretty solid right tackle. It's disappointing to see him go, but hey, man, that's how the business works. And hopefully the Ravens will be able to replace him in the draft or through the free agency. And Jeremy Zutta, man, when I heard about that trade, I thought it was reasonable. I mean, after watching him this year, he's kind of been killing drives with his holding penalties. And he no longer fit the scheme that we were trying to do, which was more of a power run scheme. He's more of a zone scheme center. So I don't mind it. Hey, why not get a Muller at center? And who else did we lose? Oh yeah, Kamar Aiken. It wasn't too big of a deal. I mean, he was a good number 3, number 4 option. And those numbers that he got in 2015 were really inflated just because of all the injuries that we got in the receiver corps. So hopefully he does good with the Colts. I mean, no bad feelings, but okay, man, that's how it is.
Yeah, it's a business at the end of the day. So we're going to move on to the next question. What do you think the Ravens are going to do in the draft?
Well, I really hope they go pass rusher in the first round. I think it's about time that they get a replacement for Suggs and to someone to study under him. I know we've already got Za'Darius and we've got Matt Judon there to learn from him. But hey, man, the more the merrier. You can never have too many pass rushers. If not pass rusher in the first round, I'd rather go corner or wide receiver. I think we should hold off on the linemen until later. Ravens are pretty decent at finding linemen later in the rounds. And yeah, I'd say pass rusher, wide receiver, and corner would be my number one options in the first round. But hopefully, if it comes to pass rusher in the first round, then Ozzy will go corner in the second, and then lineman in the third. I would prefer a center in the third, maybe like a Posick, or I forget the name, but the center from Ohio State. I hope one of those two guys could hopefully be available, and then of course we leave the rest to Ozzy. I don't know what positions he'll address later on in the draft, but I trust that he knows exactly what he's doing.
Okay. Now, if we go wide receiver, do you like John Ross and Mike Williams? You think they'll be there when we get to that 16?
That's going to be hard to tell because when you're in the middle of the first round like that, I mean, anything can happen because you got all those teams in front of you that can go completely different way of the way that the mock gurus were thinking that they were going to go. So in terms of a Mike Williams or a Corey Davis or a John Ross, I feel like at least two of them will be available by the time the Ravens are on the clock. And if I were to choose one, I would think I would go with Mike Williams because John Ross is a speedy guy. So we already have Rashad Perriman and Mike Wallace to be our speed guys. And Corey Davis, he's coming from I think Western or Eastern Michigan, and he hasn't had the same level of competition as a Mike Williams has had. So I would trust Mike Williams more because he's more of a possession receiver and he fits the mold better.
Okay, all right. I like that. I hope we do get a receiver. We need some offensive playmakers somewhere on our team, so we need to be better.
I agree. Joe needs him.
Yeah, Joe does. So the third question, what do you think the Ravens need to get better at in order to make the playoffs?
Offense, man. They definitely
Just offense.
The defense is pretty solid. I mean, it finished top 10. It was number one in run defense. I think it was number one overall for a little bit during the season, and then it finished 7th, I believe. Yeah, for the most part, defense is pretty solid. It's the offense that needs work. The Ravens definitely need to pick up depth on the O-line, aside from the obvious starters. They need to go O-line, O-line, O-line. You need those men in the trenches, man. It all starts in the trenches, like they all say. And then of course, they need to address receiver, need a playmaker there. And I wouldn't mind a running back either. And I know we've already got Terrence West, who's pretty solid, and Kenneth Dixon, who's on the rise, and Danny Woodhead. But Danny's on the wrong side of 30. Kenneth is suspended. And Terrence West, I think he's on a restricted deal right now. So I think he's with us for at least one more year. So, hey, man, another playmaking running back out the backfield would do wonders to take off pressure for Joe.
Yeah. Now, were you surprised this offseason when it felt like Ozzy was so focused on the defense, which was already good, and not ignored the offense, but kind of just let it, push it to the background?
It didn't really surprise me. I mean, this is an organization known for defense, and hey, man, I don't mind shoring up that secondary. Why not get possibly the best safety tandem in the NFL, and signing the Brandon Carr just to shore up that number 2, because our corners have been an Achilles heel lately, aside from the offense. So I don't mind at all seeing Ozzy really reinforce the defense like he has been doing, but of course it's going to leave some concern for the offense. But you can only sign so many players during the free agency, and of course, who is available during that offseason. So I trust that he's going to address the offense fairly well in the draft. However, I do think he's going to go defense first in the
Okay.
draft.
Okay. And ours we trust, as they say.
That's right.
Okay, and then the last question that we have is, what is your prediction for the Baltimore Ravens next year? How do you feel they'll end up?
Well, they were a few inches from making the playoffs if it weren't for that Antonio Brown touchdown, which I hate remembering. But
I understand.
they were this close to making the playoffs, so that gives me some pretty good optimism for next year. In terms of prediction, hopefully, if we address the pass rush and the receivers, I think the Ravens could make a pretty decent run in the playoffs. I think they'll definitely win at least one playoff game, and depending on if they'll have to eventually, inevitably, come across the Patriots, and which will most likely be in Foxborough again. I think that they can do it. I think that the Ravens have plenty of experience in the playoffs, especially in playing in Foxborough. So I think the Ravens have a better chance as they did in 2014.
Okay. Okay. Now, the Patriots, speaking of the Patriots, they, if you want to be in the Super Bowl, you got to beat them. And they got better this offseason. They made some great signings. Are you worried about them?
I mean, yeah, I kind of am. I don't see how the rich just get richer like that. It just seems way too easy for the Patriots to get better and stay better than everyone else. So with the signing of Stephon Gilmore, I do think they overpaid him, but that's how the market is these days. Who else did they get? They got Stephon. I believe they also signed the running back from the Bengals.
Yeah,
I
Burkhead.
forget. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they made some pretty solid signings. I mean, I'm not surprised because it's the Patriots and everyone wants to be able to play for them or for at least like a 1-year contract to get a ring like Darrelle Revis did.
Yeah.
So I think that unfortunately they did get better, especially with the signing of Brandon Cooks. I mean, that just gives Brady the home run every play.
Yeah.
But they're gonna be really tough to bring down. But if there's any team that can do it in the AFC, it's gonna be the Ravens.
Yeah. Okay. All right, man. Thank you so much for joining me for this talk. I really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel for more fan talks. We post videos every day. So again, thank you so much, and I'll see you later. Go Ravens.
Go Ravens, man. See ya.